Mark has asked me to come up here and share a few of the statistics. We've been talking over the last couple of weeks about financial information, and being in the realm of finances and investments, we're always keeping up on current stats and economic development and whatnot. So I'm going to go into some statistics. Statistics don't lie. I want to congratulate you before I do, because the statistics are very daunting, so I don't want you to get depressed. I want to congratulate you. I want to congratulate you for being here, because intuitively you know that there's a better way. Intuitively you know that you are tired of working long hours, many weeks out of the year. Some of you don't even take vacations anymore, having too much month left over and not enough money. And I'm going to give you the statistics behind that of why economically that is happening. Because the way that we are typically taught to live our life is to economically depress our personal financial situation. So bear with me and let me share a few statistics with you, and you'll have a better understanding and a better working knowledge of what exactly economically is going on. I'm going to start with the inflation rate. The inflation rate that the government posts, as Mark had mentioned yesterday, is 4%. That does not include two items, two very important items, might I add. Those items are gas and food, as Mark mentioned yesterday. Do things continuously cost more as time goes on? Absolutely. We've all seen those examples of 20 years ago when gas was $2 a gallon, milk was half of what it is now. My grandparents bought their first house for $11,000. My parents bought their first house for $37,000. So real estate increases with that inflation rate, as do the rest of the goods and services. So when you go ahead and add the real inflation rate and add gas and food into that and post the real inflation rate, it becomes 10%, 9.98%. Can we call it 10%? All right. If the government all of a sudden comes out with those statistics tomorrow, and it's broadcasted through the media, through CNN, MSN, what's going to happen to our economy? What are we as Americans going to want to do with our money? We're going to want to hoard it. We're not going to want to spend it. We're going to want to stuff it under that mattress and keep it safe, right? What is that going to do to the economy in general for America? It's going to make it collapse, right? Well, let's use that same analogy to your own personal economy. What have you been taught to do with your money? Save it. Put it under that mattress so it can stay safe. That is a plan for failure, and that is a plan for economic suppression. I was an economic major in college. Part of the equation to make money grow is the velocity of money, or the movement of money. Money has to constantly be moving. That's why in that scenario, if we took all of our money and we didn't spend it anymore and we hoarded it, immediate economic crash is going to be happening. That's the same thing that we do to our personal economy every day, is we make it crash when we save it and we don't spend our money, with the exception of paying our bills and living paycheck to paycheck. We have to move our money. Big investors and successful investors understand that. So how do real estate investors move their money? We will invest in certain areas, single-family homes or rental homes. And do you think we invest in those areas over a long 20, 30-year period of time? No. We cash out, and then we move our money to the next best market. Why do you think there's the 1031 exchange program, which allows us investors to do that without any tax implications? Who writes the rules of this country? The rich. Yeah. How did the rich become rich? No, by real estate investing or businesses. So where do you think the tax laws are going to be favored for? Real estate and business. So just by starting to play in the game of real estate, you're going to save more money, because you're going to be putting more money in your pocket just by tax savings. Because there's a whole new world that Mark's going to get to tomorrow to help you save money on your taxes. The other thing is, what have we been taught to do for retirement? Go to school, get good grades, get a good job, to get good benefits, to work and save for 30 years, retire and put money into our 401ks, and then at 65, retire happily ever after. Well, does that plan work? No. It doesn't work because, again, you have bought into a plan to put your money aside and let it sit for 30 years. It doesn't matter if it's in a bank account. It doesn't matter if it's in a 401k. It doesn't matter if it's even in real estate. There's a 30-year plan to real estate. We're not even talking about that here. We're talking about a 3 to 5 year plan. If you truly want to retire in 3 to 5 years, you have to have your money moving. That's why most people in retirement, if they utilize their 401ks and they save for that 30 years, they're never going to be able to retire at the way that they want to, because it's setting their money aside and it's just saving it there. It's not moving it. If you want to make money in the market, you need to become a trader. You need to move your money every 3 to 6 months in and out of the stock market. Anytime you want to have financial freedom, you have to be educated. The more you know, the more money you're going to put in your pocket, because you have to be able to move your money. The only way it's going to grow is if you move your money. And statistically, I can put statistics behind this to prove that I'm saying is accurate. Statistics don't lie. Unfortunately, the rate of retirement at age 65, only 1% of people who are 65 and older are financially self-sufficient, meaning they do not need government assistance or they do not need family assistance. That means statistically only one of you in here is going to be living in retirement without any family assistance or without government assistance. Only one of you. And you might be looking around and there might be several of you saying, that's not going to be me, that's not going to be me. Statistics don't lie. That's what everybody thinks, is they don't think it's going to be them. But yet the statistics keep coming out year after year after year. Let me show you why. If you have $200,000 in your retirement account now, in 20 years, at the real rate of inflation, that $200,000 is worth $33,000. Can you live on that for 1 year? Barely, if you're getting by on some top ramen. So that $200,000 that you've worked and you've saved for and you've slaved and put away in 20 years is going to give you $33,000 of purchasing power. That's why so many people are on government assistance or family assistance at retirement. Here's another interesting statistic. $1 million. Most of you in this room would be impressed with the $1 million. Well, don't be. Because $1 million in 20 years gives you $166,000 of purchasing power. How many years and how much money does it take to set aside and work and save to set aside $1 million? A lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of sweat. And yet, 20 years from now, it's only going to be worth $166,000. That is why the statistics are the way that they are. And that is why only 1% after the age of 65 are self-sufficient. Is because the plan that we know of, go to school, get good grades, get a good job, get good benefits, save in that retirement account, save in that 401k, and live happily ever after the age of 65 does not work. And I know this because I saw it firsthand working for Merrill Lynch. It took me 2 years to figure it out. After 2 years, I was out. I was gone. Like, I am not doing this, and I'm not going to continue to financially plan for my clients to work and save hard, because it does not work. It cannot happen. What can happen is using real estate. Those are some of the statistics that help motivate me to not become a financial advisor anymore. When I really looked at the statistics, when I really looked at what was going on in the economy, What I was being told to tell my clients and what all the VPs really knew and what they were telling me behind closed doors. I didn't want to be that person that wasn't practicing what I was preaching. And they are all wealthy and they're all rich, but it's off of all of you guys. You shouldn't be allowing that to happen anymore. Don't become a statistic. This is your weekend to make the change. This is your opportunity now. If you don't, statistically speaking, you will end up either without having to live with government assistance or having to live with family assistance. And what I mean by that, the average Social Security check is $1,200 a month. Most people cannot live or put food on the table without that $1,200 check. How sad is that to live your life for 30, 40, 50 years, working, slaving away, sacrificing time with family, sweating away, and having to depend on a $1,200 government Social Security check to put food on your table. 99% of the people are in that boat after the age of 65. Don't become that statistic. So again, I'm going to congratulate you for being here, because intuitively, you know that working is not going to get you where you want to be. Statistically and logically, now you know why. And now you know a little bit more behind the economics of why it doesn't work. It's important to get your money working for you. It's important to make your money move. And in order to do these things, you need to learn how to do them. It's a process. It's not just a 3-day weekend. It's a process. Mark has been in the business for years. I've been in the business for years. We're all continuing to learning. This is a lifestyle change. This is something that you need to be able to take seriously and understand what's being offered to you this weekend. Because you don't want to end up to be another statistic. And you don't want to end up having your $1 million that you've worked and saved for be worth $166,000. And most of you don't even have that $1 million. So let's get investing.